Welcome back to 4 Geeks by Geeks, the place where geeks come to geek out. Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's your Monday Night Geek Out Sesh. As always, I am Boser. And how are we doing, you guys? Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for jumping in. Sorry for the slight delay. I left the stove on or something. But hey guys, I'm so happy you're here. Thanks for chilling out. If this is your very first time to 4 Geeks by Geeks, we do this every Monday night. We do a Geek Out session with a brand new geek guest, and I guarantee that you are going to want to stick around. And it has been updated. It unupdated. What is this shit? Oh my god, I hate technology. Literally, I did all this. This is just Twitch are making me look bad. Okay, let me do it now. What? Well, of course it's not updated on Twitch or on YouTube either, because we do it the same. So, Tris, this is proof that technology difficulties are not exclusive. So, okay, let me just with TrisRex. I'm typing. Creature, armor, FX Artist. Good God. Jeez. Well, that's not going to be updated on YouTube, but that's fine. Yeah, technical difficulties, merch coming soon. I literally did start a design a couple weeks ago, and I never finished it. You know why? Because technical difficulties. But we do this every Monday with a new geek guest, and we talk to them, we get to know them, and we ask them some great questions, and we learn why they geek out about what they geek out about. We just all are geeks here on the internet, and then stick around towards the end where we're going to play some ridiculous game where we are going to monster mash some cartoons together and do our best to draw them, and we'll see how we do. I know how I'll do, and it's probably not great, but I am working with an artist. But before we welcome him on the stream, I want you to hit that command QOTD and find out the question of the day, which is, thank you, John. What is your go-to music for getting work done? And Tris, I want to find out from you in just a minute. Boser, you like the hair up? Thank you. I just got a haircut. And when I get a haircut, this is basically the only option. It goes up. But I have kind of an eclectic genre. Like, sometimes I really love listening to, like, just punk pop. Like, my childhood, my adolescence. I go get that Dashboard Confessional. I get that Simple Plan. That gets me hyped and pumped. But then other times, I'll put on some, like, epic fantasy music. Like, I'm at war, and it's me against the TPS reports, and I have to get it done. Thanks, Alec. It fits my quirkiness. Oh, thank you. I can't listen to music. I get distracted. So you work in silence? See, that gets me distracted. Just complete silence. But John says, Disney scores, movie scores, and Broadway albums. Oh, yeah. See, but John, that gets me distracted. Unless I'm working in the warehouse where I'm, like, painting, then I can sing and I can belt my life away while I'm painting. But if I'm in my office, if I listen to broad musicals, I'm going to want to sing, and that's just not gonna do great. Alex says Scooby-Doo cartoons and songs. Okay, nice. That's fitting. But if you guys aren't aware of my guest, you're gonna be, and you're gonna want to stick around and get to know him because I've actually been a big fan of his work. Let's see. It was back in 2019. That's where I first saw his work up close and personal at C2E2. And actually, he was one of the very first people that gave me this humbling honor, which I'll describe to his face. But I saw his work there, and ever since, I've just been following his work for the last couple years, and it's so good. And I knew that when we started these Geek Out sessions that I needed to have him on the show, but I didn't want to seem too thirsty and like ask him right away in the first like 5 or so. So I put it off. I was like, oh yeah, you know, I do this thing. It's no big deal. You want to come on? Meanwhile, I've been like hunting him. But I don't want to keep him in the wings anymore because I need to find out more about what makes his brain tick and how he does this incredible work that he does. And so thanks for hanging out. Oh, thanks, Malice in Mind, First time chat. Hi. OST and scores all day. I do love some good music from movies and anime. Oh my god. Okay, but throw up some emojis in the chat. I want to see some fire. I want to see some clapping. I want to see some hoots and hollers. Give it up for the one and only TrisRex, everyone.
Yo!
There he is!
What's going on, everybody?
Ooh!
We are here. What's going on?
We're just doing this thing on the internet. Thanks for stopping by and donating your precious, precious time.
A little donation is, it does everybody good.
It
But I
does.
always got time for Geeks by Geeks. You guys have been supporting me for years. I appreciate it.
I have, and I'll tell you that you were one of the very first people. We were at C2E2, and I think we were leaving the McCormick Center.
Yeah.
And you were in like half of your outfit. You had just walked off the stage of the Crown Championships of Cosplay. And you were leaving. You were like half in your swamp thing and your green monster. And you're like, oh my god, it's 4 Geeks by Geeks.
Yeah, I remember.
I hit the ground. I was like, no. Oh my god.
I remember. I always put people out, especially if I, follow you or a fan. I'm not shy. Like I'm a fan of everybody's in the culture too. So it was dope. I'm like, yo, I love you guys. Like I love what you're doing. I just had to say that. I think I was like close to heat exhaustion, but
I'm sure.
Okay, it's okay. You got to shout your people out, right?
Oh my god, and we just appreciate you so much. So for those in the chat that don't know you or the incredible things you do, tell us about it. What are you creating over there in Chicago?
So I come up with different titles for it every once in a while, but I think creature armor effects is pretty much the best way to talk about what I'm doing with this DC line. And it's basically the marriage of, practical effects and special effects, like vintage practical effects, just guys in suits, women in suits.
Yeah.
Made with
these 90s style
cosplay techniques. Yeah. Yeah, so made with a lot of the cosplay products and techniques that we use today to achieve a more vintage and a monster era type character.
That's really interesting that you specifically say that you want to keep that like vintage people in costumes kind of monster effect, because it's clear when you look at your work, and we're going to show you all kinds of work here in a minute, you guys. But I didn't realize that was like a key, component of what you wanted to do. Where'd that come from?
Just my love for film at an early age. One of the things I always say is that I'm truly like, I was born in '88. I know that might be like ancient for some of you guys.
I hope it's not ancient.
But I was born at a time where we had like Aliens.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Terminator, Predator. These were like practical effects. And that's where my root is. And I always wanted to stay true to that. So when I chose the specific characters, I know some might be a little bit more obscure, but we want to bring them to a new audience, bring them to a new life. And that's just the route I wanted to go. I didn't want it to be so abstract to think where it could be digital, but I want you to see it in person. Like no, that's Swamp Thing. That's the green. Yeah. In person, no green suit, no green screen, full-on character.
We're glad to see that you and I aren't the only ones that feel that '88 ain't ancient.
I
would agree.
I tell people I was born in '88, and they be like, "Wow, like what happened that year?" I'm like, a lot, but it's okay.
I think that means that we're hanging out with too young of people. We need vintage.
It's a work, the job.
It's this damn digital age that we've been thrust into. The kids get it quicker than us, and it just took us a while.
Yeah.
It's not fair.
You already know. I
Um,
already know.
but your love of horror, I'm like, I have so many questions, you guys. Like all of them are trying to get out of my mouth all at once. And I'm pacing myself. I'm like, we got time. You just let it flow. But like, I have so many questions. I want this to be really selfish. I've got really specific questions about the process, but we'll get there. We'll get there. So you were a horror movie fan growing up? Is that what I'm picking up on?
Yes. Super into horror movies. Horror sci-fi is my genre. So like I said, I came up with Freddy, Jason. But when I started to really get into horror was when I first saw Pumpkinhead. Pumpkinhead was one of the films that really was horror, but it had a big creature in it that I could kind of gravitate to. And then American Werewolf.
Yeah.
And London, obviously the famous Rick Baker, a lot of those horror elements and themes. I know, I've just always been spooky, just spooky. I'm just a creepy dude in a good way,
There's nothing wrong with being spooky. Yeah. No, but I have looked back at those movies and I was like, I miss this. There's such craftsmanship and artistry that went into this. And now equal amount of craftsmanship and artistry goes into the digital CGI, but it's different.
It's different.
It's different.
I love them. I love when they're both used equally to fit whatever, narrative needs to, be made on screen.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's practical, it's different. When you can see it in the camera, it's different.
Yeah.
It's different.
Do you feel like people are still using that nowadays?
It's coming back slowly. One of the popular movies that came through and used some practical effects was The Tomorrow War, with Chris Pratt, the White Spikes. They used practical effects for some of the monsters, and it was just one scene where you finally get like a close up of the monster, and it's like an aerial shot, and you could like really see it, and you could just tell that it's really in the camera. And I was so happy to see it. First off, one of the coolest monsters of the last 10 years. I will argue with anybody. I will argue, chat room. But
name a cooler monster, chat. You can't.
In the last 10 years, I'm not sure. But yes, Wayne Anderson definitely did that. Thank you. He sculpted that. It was beautiful.
Now I gotta look at it. This is Tomorrow what?
Practical. The Tomorrow War?
Tomorrow War. We're gonna say the Tomorrow War monster. Let's see what comes up.
Call it White Spikes.
I'm not sure that I ever saw that. Oh damn.
It's dope. It's dope.
That's cool. Okay, don't worry, chat. I'm gonna show you. I'll show you.
Shout out to the NUID as well, Malice in Mind. That's one of my other favorites. That's by my homie Rashad Santiago, and directed by Rick Prince, one of the other movie monsters that really gets me going.
Okay, so this is what we're talking about.
That's it. Yeah.
So it was CGI in part of the movie, but then eventually they did make a physical costume.
Oh yeah, they made a physical. One was just one of like the drone-like aliens, and then they made a physical for the big queen too. And it was very inspiring. Very inspiring.
Ooh, is this on your list then? Someday?
Maybe. Maybe. We got everything booked to like 2023, but after that,
Jesus, really? You are
I got a long list. Oh yeah.
Ooh.
We're gonna dig into that, look.
Yeah, we'll dig it. I'm gonna find out your full list.
But I don't want to spoil it and everybody just walk out like, oh, okay, we got what we needed.
But do you mind if I show people kind of what we're talking about with the way that you're creating these monsters?
Yeah,
showing your Instagram?
Let's do it.
Because you guys, if you haven't already, you need to use command TrisRex and go follow this man because he is doing the work. Oh, I've got a... Okay, I've got a lot happening on my screen. Sorry, it's like crunching everything down. I can't even tell you. I'm sharing so many different screens. Stop. There we go. Bought me some real estate on this massive TV that I use as a monitor. But I need you to go follow this man, because just look at the work that he's doing. Let's just scroll. We're going to scroll down. We're going to start backwards. We're going to go back to your earlier works. I like to go back down to the basement and to everyone's embarrassing part of their Instagram before we really understood what it was or what we were doing with our lives.
Oh, yeah. We could take it back to memory lane.
But yeah, that takes it back. It shows the process, the progress.
Mm-hmm.
Because you didn't have this process figured out immediately overnight, right?
Oh, no.
Like, where did you get your start in even understanding on how to make things like this?
Well, I first started just like watching YouTube videos and just like rewatching it.
Okay.
And first just getting like familiar with the materials. Like I always, I go to the gym a lot, so floor mats, all that other stuff is just something that you just see every day, but I didn't know it could be used for such cool like use.
Yeah, a floor mat.
Yeah, like a floor mat could do this. But yeah, just
You're doing like some push-ups. You're like, oh, you know what this could be? I can use this to make some slate armor real quick.
Look at the density. But just studying, like going down a list of how to make armor, how to make masks, how to paint it, how to coat it, how to do all of that, and then it came to like making it fit right, different templates, getting experimental with proportions and all this other stuff. It was a lot of and it still is trial and error, right?
Whole damn life is trial and error.
All of life.
I'm gonna move this
trial and error. And yeah, it's just one of those things where it just started to build on top of each other. And it grew into to what we have today.
About how early on did you first make an attempt at like armor building?
That one right there. If you scroll back down,
later,
it was the one before that. So if
this
you scroll
one
back down just a little bit out. Not that one. The
No?
one below. There you go. That one right there.
This one?
Yeah,
this one?
Killmonger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I actually purchased that Kylo Ren when I purchased that one and like pieced it together from different companies.
Okay.
And I did so many alterations that I was like, you know what? Could have made this on my own. No salt to the companies, but I always felt like it was just something that was already in me. So
yeah.
Killmonger was my first attempt. And I saw the Black Panther trailer and I'm like, you know what? That's cool. It's like football pads, but it's militaristic. It's not a full body armor, so it's something I could try.
Yeah, it's a good experiment.
A couple months or so.
A good starter pack.
I really had fun with it. I had a ball with it. And then I went on to full body. I'm like, okay, that worked. Let me see if I can add some more stuff in there. Huge fan of Deathstroke. Just as a character, played Arkham Origins a lot.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? That design is pretty cool. Let me try this. And then that was the upcoming one. That's not my Black Manta, but it was based on that Black Manta. So it's close. And then I just started to, that's another Injustice shot.
Okay.
That was like
your work
warning.
Is honestly so good, I can't tell the difference. I was like, is this it? I don't know.
You gotta keep scrolling to find it. But that was like one of my very first sneak peeks.
But already, like, again, a ballpark between from when you started to even like this one. Like, what's the time span there?
That was 2018 when we first saw with Killmonger, and this is 2019.
So within a year.
Within about a year or so.
So that's just incredible to me because this is just outing myself. I wish that I could do something and then, make these improvements, these very gradual improvements, but very large improvements that clearly you have made. And so I'm so impressed. Like my brain just doesn't work that way. I'm this good at something and that's about where I'm going to be for the rest of my days. I think I'm broken. But this just gets better and better.
Yeah, and it was one of those things where I just heads down, like I have to do this or I just can't go on. I kind of like, put these scenarios in my mind as like why I have to do it, and just really like it depends on the character too. It's just one of those things that really drove me, and I started out with like my favorites, like things that I would always do.
Okay.
Like, not always do, but like things like if I could, I would do this.
Yeah.
And, I want to try those first and then get into the real artistry of it.
So you're starting with what interests you, is what it sounds like.
Right.
Holy shit. Hey, Sci-Fi Wire.
Interests me. Oh, yeah. That was cool. I felt really good about that. I'm like, oh, yeah. That's little old me.
But like, look at this. All the detail. Like that's not just cutting foam. That's
PVC pipes, all kinds of stuff.
So intimidated by all of this.
I like looking back just to see like my thoughts. Like, why did I, do that? As you learn, you learn more.
Yeah.
And
well, you learn more.
Better. You do better. Yes, you do. Give yourself some credit.
None. No, this is not for me. This is your Geek Out Sesh. So then this looks like the next project.
This was right after Black Manta, and this was the DC Prime Batman. And for a lot of people, this was like after this, and Black Manta was one of the ones that like really started to give me some notoriety. And this was a cosplay, and actually the designer is right there, Wano Song Art.
No way.
He designed this for, at the time, DC Collectibles / DC Direct. And I just wanted to take a stab at it. I thought it was a really cool bat suit. And something that like, hey, if I was Batman, I would wear this. Like, this is the bat suit that I would choose. And I was really able to like put some symbolism in it and like kind of contort it a little bit to be more mech suit. Whereas his was a little bit sleeker. I wanted mine to be a little bit more like the mech suit.
Okay.
And yeah, it kicked my ass. It was a lesson on layers and detailing. His designs are so crazy and intricate.
Yeah, because he used a computer to do it, and you used your hands and whatever else.
A whole lot of paper, just sketching and more sketching.
Like, honestly, this is how I spend way too much time in my day. As I go look at your Instagram feed, and I just like zoom in and I'm looking at all the layers. I'm like, how did he do this?
Yeah. It was a layering masterclass because everything had to be laid perfectly, especially for the type of like bulkiness that I was going for. Because I didn't want to make it sleek. I wanted to make it a full-on mech suit.
Yeah, you wanted that girth.
Yeah, I didn't want to, don't mistake it. This is a mech suit.
Yeah. Well, it seems like this post popped the fuck off. Like 1,400. Really, I'm just tracking like, your general numbers as you go, because one thing that I think it's important, we have a lot of creators in our community that are watching and they see your work and they're like, oh, I want to do what they're doing. And I need them to all understand, including I need myself to all understand that this is a very gradual process and you put in the work and it didn't happen for you overnight. You didn't just wake up and decide, I'm going to go compete in the Crown Championships of Cosplay with my great work. Like, you worked hard.
Yeah, very. And you know, the hustle is still there. The hustle is still there, you know?
God, I have no words. I just stare. So, oh God. So then walk us
And that's the
through
toy. That's the
that
toy right
process.
there.
Where? Oh, this is the toy next to your suit.
I finally got it. Yep.
Nice.
I was so happy to get the figure finally and just to see it. I was like, this is perfect.
You're like, wow, I nailed it.
Yeah. I
Look at
tried.
this side by side. Which is a toy? Tell me, which is a toy? You can't. You can't. Which? You can't do it. So for those that maybe want, I really would love to do that. What do you even start? Like start to finish? Walk us through your process on how to bring this masterpiece to work, to life.
So my process has changed over the years. That's when I was trying to do one for ones and like trying to match things without my own without putting too much of, you know, my sauce on it. Now it's just
Okay.
like completely like that's cool, I'm doing this. But back then it was more so about like actually getting as many pictures of the character as possible, sketching it out, seeing what pieces go where, how the layering is going to look,
Okay.
and just putting together like a plan or a roadmap as far as how you're going to tackle it. My big thing is plan to work the plan. So if you're going to start on a helmet, how does the helmet go on? Where do you need to see out of? How can you see out of it if you got, you know, visors or lenses or anything else? And
Okay.
then it's just about bringing it to life. How many layers do you need to actually make this look like Black Manta or a Batman cowl? Or what paint are you going to use? And, you know, the specific contrast, how they're going to bounce off each other as far as shadowing and such. So I really went into the detail of how to pull it off back then. Whereas
Okay.
today, it's all about the story. It's all
Interesting.
about the story today.
What do you
Because,
mean by that? That can mean a lot of things. What do you mean?
well, today it's more so about the message and theme that goes with the character. A lot of them I like to choose, like for Swamp Thing, his biggest theme was identity. He didn't know who he was. Like if you look at that picture, you can see where there's bark in the chest,
Uh-huh.
but there's also vines as well, which they can be seen as veins. So I wanted it to be like a mural or a picture of someone that's like literally battling with themselves as far as who they are as a person. Are you the plant that became the man? Or are you the man that became the plant? And that was one of those things that I really wanted to like show in every like crevice of that Swamp Thing suit, which is called the green, but you all know that. And right now, you know, it's all about the story now. I gotta have a reasoning for it, you know. And a lot of the characters that you see nowadays with this whole DC Rex verse that I've started, they all embody a time or period in my life or something that I've gone through for real, which is why these are a little bit more personal. So
Really? So you were able to
the
take like this Swamp Thing, the green, his like maybe battle with identity and pull it back to a moment that you felt exactly the same.
yeah. Before then, I was having issues wearing multiple hats. I just got promoted at work. I had to mentor people for the first time now, and it actually meant something.
Yeah.
You know, you wear so many hats throughout the day, you kind of forget who you are at a certain point. And that's one of the reasons why I started practical effects and cosplay, to get back to who I am as a person, having that creative outlet, you know?
So it almost became like a grounding for you. Like you were getting maybe spiraling in so many other hats
Mm-hmm.
that you
Yeah,
went back to your roots, your love of horror, your love of special effects.
My love of monsters. Yeah, horror, special effects. And it's therapeutic. It's still just as therapeutic, if not more, to this day. Because obviously we get older, more
Uh-huh.
responsibility. Obviously times have changed
Uh-huh.
nowadays. So the need for that outlet is even greater than what it was before. And
And
they symbolize that.
okay, here's the whole thing together,
Uh-oh.
y'all.
This is where it changed.
Oh my god.
This is where things start to change.
Honestly. But like how now I'm asking for myself. Because you're speaking some truth to me. In this wearing a lot of hats, like you still are finding the joy and like able to have created like the mental, I don't know, space to be able to focus on the story, not get caught up in all the responsibilities of the day, like still make time for this which you love and not let it become a monster of its own, if that
Right.
makes sense. How do you keep that balance?
Time management is key. As a project manager and analyst, I'm always thinking of like, okay, where should I spend my time today? And I literally get to the point where I'm just like decking out my calendar, just trying to see what I should work on, how much time will I need for that, and just finding that balance, because I could really go deep sometimes where I need to reel myself in. I mean, there has been certain nights where my wife, like, she comes in and finds me sleep with a glue gun on my lap.
It's like burning into your skin.
It's like burning into my skin, and I'm sitting there like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go to sleep now. But it comes a time where you gotta reel yourself back in. So I'm huge on time management now. Especially now that I kind of know what I'm doing now. I'm still learning, but I got a better handle on things now.
Okay, time management. You guys getting this? Time management. Do you get this, Boser? Time management. Time management.
Time management.
I'm not super great at that. I'm getting better. I think it's something that just comes with age. But, like, just ballpark, how long does something like this take? This has got to take forever. Forever.
That took about 4 months for me to complete him. 4 months to debut him, like start to finish, because it took a lot of fittings to really get that to the point where the silhouette really matched where I could be underneath it.
Yeah, so because it's pretty sleek as far as like what it could be.
Yeah. It could have been much bigger.
Yeah.
But as you can see, at a certain point, in that picture, things changed for the better. And like you can just tell, creative wise, that things went in a totally different direction when I just started to do things my way.
You making an interesting point. So what you're saying is when. Well, okay, I'll let you define that. I've never been so tripped up over words. But, like, I love what you're saying, and I'm trying to pull every bit of it. So, how were you doing it before you were doing things your way? What was your motivation there?
So, my motivation, I would say it was until DC Prime. The DC Prime Batman, I was still trying to do one-for-ones and trying to stick to the script as far as like what the artist or what the designer really stuck to. And then with Swamp Thing, all the way to Atrocitus today, it's all about me and my interpretation of the character, how they would look in this story, in this universe, with this theme, with all of the things that inspired me at that time, So that's where it really started to change.
So before
and I dabbled in it a little bit as far as like changing the proportions of that bat suit, or making the head for Black Manta even bigger and a little bit more Mantis-like than the movie. But this one, Swamp Thing, I was like, I'm diving off the deep end.
So instead of doing it just to make sure I'm catching what you're saying, instead of doing it just like it would be in the comics or just like it would be in the film, you put your own spin on it.
Yeah. Make it as Tristan as possible.
And is that where the name TrisRex was born from? Like, I'm putting my own stamp on things?
Really, TrisRex came from the gym. That was like my powerlifter nickname because I always used to envision dinosaurs or like Jurassic Park scenes before I would go for a big squat or a big bench. And it kind of just stuck. Like we used to have my old company, we had track jackets where you could put a nickname on your track jacket, and I chose TrisRex. And ever since then, I've just been TrisRex. That was my nickname at work, and I mean it's perfect for what I do now because synonymous with a big dinosaur. But
it's wild, and I'm sensing a thread of like who you are. You can't help but implant that in everything that you do, including your cosplay and the identity, you know, putting that deeper story into it and bringing in the workout. And it's I love this. I'm just loving you every second you open your mouth, even more and more than I already do. So this is my Geek Out Sesh. Screw you. This is not your Geek Out Sesh. I'm kicking you out over TrisRex's cosplay. For those that are maybe wanting to even begin this process, like you talked about, the process begins for you with planning ahead and like how do I wear this helmet, but like as far as the mechanics of it, the tools of the trade, like what are you using to create these?
So a lot of the stuff that I'm using is not hard to find, like a box cutter to cut the foam, hot glue guns, clamps, painting utensils. You could pretty much find a lot of this stuff at Home Depot or Joann's Fabric. It's a little expensive once you get started, once you getting all of the tools and such with the materials, but not necessarily super expensive things like heat guns and stuff. Like you can get a good heat gun from Home Depot for like $25.
Yeah, and once you have it, you have it.
Yeah,
you buy a new one every time. Yeah. Have you ever broken a heat gun?
Oh yeah.
How do you break a heat gun? You turn it on.
It just went out. No, I think I was a little too rough with it. I dropped it a couple times. I'll be honest with you. And foam clay. Foam clay is one of the things that you could order from.
I was gonna ask. I was like, this doesn't look like
Amazon
EVA foam.
No, it's pretty much EVA foam in a can.
Okay.
And it's like working with really, really wet clay. It's different than the Marsha clays or Chavons, which gets harder over time. But they do have different textures of that too. So I probably shouldn't say that. But it's pretty much EVA foam in a can, and you can manipulate it the same ways that you use other wet clays. How you go about detailing it is just a little bit different because it does puff up once it gets a little bit drier. But yeah, it's one of those
crazy
things
you can do with foam clay.
Oh yeah. And that was just my first time like really figuring it out.
Oh, okay, yeah, guys, he just picked up a bottle of foam clay and he's like, I think I'll make an entire fish can. It's cool. It's no big. My first time.
Can't trench. But as you can see, it's a lot of the layering of it was EVA foam.
Okay.
So it was just like, how do I make these bulbous or sharp shapes? Layering the two together, how much of it is EVA foam, how much of it is foam clay? Because at the end of the day, it's all foam, right? But it's just when and where.
So you would put like a layer of foam and then cover that with foam clay, and then you'd be able to carve that a little bit and shape it?
Yeah, you just sculpt into it. Yeah.
Cool. I'm stealing all of these tips.
Please do.
I come from a theater background, actually, and it's no secret at my work that I'm the geeky one that loves cosplay and loves Comic-Cons, and they're like, dude, we should be using his like knowledge of cosplay. And I was like, yeah, I've got so much knowledge of cosplay. Not from personal use, just from like studying everybody else's and like looking at yours. So
And
chat.
I was actually a theater minor as well. A lot of people don't know that, but I worked on a lot of sets. I
Okay.
did a lot of sets during my time in theater.
Because I was gonna ask, like, where did you even begin to learn? You didn't just like, hey, I like monsters in movies, horror movies. I think I'll make one. Like, you had to already have some sort of semblance of knowing how to craft with those kind of materials, right?
You know what? I didn't use the materials that I used during my time in set design. Now, it was
Okay.
mostly, pretty much, it was like wood shop,
Mhm.
and a whole lot of painting. But a lot of the stuff that I did do to get started in cosplay, as well as practical effects, are new things that I just picked up. And I just kind of like taught myself from YouTube videos and just trial and error, more trial and error, and just like burning through phone.
But did you always have like an artistic edge to you?
Oh,
You
yeah.
be the artsy kid.
I was definitely the artsy kid.
So
Sketching, drawing stuff.
Yeah.
It's always been in me.
I see what you mean by putting the TrisRex stamp on things. Like you took a little bit of this, a little bit of this, a little bit of this, and you just like put them all together.
Yeah, like, and that's the perfect example. Like, I really love the way the trench looked in the comics. I
Uh-huh.
also loved how they looked in the movie, but I love the actual representation of them from the Injustice 2 video game.
Okay.
And I started to sketch and like, oh, how could I put the best of all of these three elements together? And that's how I came up with King Trench. And I love that dude.
Do you ever get shit on like at cons? Like, excuse me, according to DC comic number 47, that's not what a trench looks like.
You know what? I think I got a little bit of that with. I think Swamp Thing was the one that. I mean,
Yeah.
I've hear like people like, oh man, he looks a little bit blah 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 blah. I don't really care. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't care at all. Because it's my creation, you know.
Yeah, it's your baby. Like, you made this. Like,
Yeah.
come at me with any criticism while I just put in the last 4 months into this costume. What are they going to say to that?
Like, there's nothing else you could tell me. Like, I'm good.
But like, how do you get to having that mindset? Because so many people listening right now or listening later on YouTube are maybe struggling with that. Like, they don't know whether they can do their own or they do the one-to-one. They don't know how to handle the criticism that they're going to get when someone comes at them and says that's not exactly what it's supposed to look like.
You know what? That has nothing to do with cosplay or practical effects. That just has to do with life. People are gonna like me for the things I create. People aren't gonna like me for the things I create. People are gonna like me as a person. People aren't gonna like me as a person. I think it just comes from the I don't know. I think it just comes from the way I was raised. I know that I'm good at these things. I love who I am as a person. You know, I was brought up with a huge level of self-love because of my mother and my family. And it's just one of those things where it's like, hey, you know what? I don't care. I don't care. I just spent 40 to 50 hours working all week, and I'm going to create this big ass monster. If you like it, great. If you don't like it, great. But this is happening. This is happening. And that's that monster part of me, of inside of me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see that big monster, no matter what you do, no matter who you call, no matter what you point at it, the monster is there. It's coming for you. You're screwed. And that's the type of mindset that I take when I'm creating as well. So if you're gonna take the ride, you're gonna take the ride. If not, you're still gonna get stomped on.
No, but I love what you're saying. And
the big monster is coming, whether you like it or not.
But I love that level of self-love, and that's like at the core of what we believe here at 4 Geeks by Geeks, which is when you geek out loud about what you love, then your tribe will find you, and you don't have to worry about everyone accepting it. If you love it and you share that with the world, the people that don't love it, like you said, are going to go away. The people that do are going to be drawn to you, and you're going to start your little community, your tribe, and you're going to find your people.
Yeah, it's all about just doing like what makes sense to you, and once you figure that out, lean into it. Like I
Lean
always say,
into
be
it. Don't just geek out. Geek out loud.
vigilantly,
Yes.
be vigilantly passionate about what you do, and lean into that shit. And if people love it, great. If people don't love it, great. But at the end of the day, you got to be you.
I love you're
Gotta
just
be
speaking my truth. I needed to hear this. How does your wife feel about this?
My wife she's good about it. I mean, at first it was a little rocky. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
She was like, "Dude, you cutting all this foam. You getting paint everywhere. We haven't, went out. Like, dude, I want my husband back."
Yeah.
And then, as she started to see, like, wait, this is a much happier Tristan. and she was always supportive, but now it's more like, hey, you need to go create something. You seem a little cranky. Go to the studio. So now it's more of one of those things like, yeah, go make us a monster, baby. But she's super supportive.
I love that for you.
She helps me a lot too, and she also stepped in as the Wonder Woman too, the Amazon that debuted last year.
Yeah.
But you'll see Chelsea with me as my handler. I'm pretty sure you saw her that night that I shouted you out.
Oh yeah, she was like carrying pieces of your Swamp Thing to the car.
She biggest fan, biggest critic. She helps me with everything. When I come up with a concept or a story, she's the first one to see it. And I know when I got something, because if I could surprise my wife, that's her with the Swamp Thing.
This is basically how I saw you when you spoke to me for the first time.
Yeah,
this man that just made this incredible art has the nerve to say hello to me? Are you kidding? And you got a big head, but look how small your head looks like.
My head is huge. And that's how you could tell that's a big suit.
Yeah, he's a big boy. And I can't wait till we get to here she is. Here's that beautiful goddess. Look at her.
Oh yeah. That's her. Mama Rex.
Mama Rex. You're TrisRex, she's Mama Rex.
Yeah. I can't get into none of those suits without Mama Rex. So she stepped up and came to the plate and brought it on home as the Amazon. And
this is her saying, "Did you get any more paint on my goddamn floor? I'm gonna kill you." I want a date night.
I love it.
But I want to get up here to I can't even pronounce it. I tried. Your one of your newest creations. I don't want to bypass Man-Bat or Bat, whatever you call this one.
Oh yeah, the Man.
This guy.
Lord Atrocitus.
Atrocitus. I was like, how do I say that? Atrocitus.
The first studio build. The first build at the new studio, at the new home. And this is the big bad of the DC Rex universe.
And you can tell because this is he's not just a big bad, he is a big bad. He's huge.
Oh yeah. And he's one of those obscure characters that you might not be mainstream, but he's one of those dudes that if you've played Injustice 2 or read the Green Lantern comics, he's pretty cool. And I wanted to bring him to to kind of show hey, there's other villains out here. That's pretty cool that I want a new audience to see. And I was thinking about big villains I could have, and I was like, you know what? Nah, let's go left. And plus, he really fits the he really fits the bill when it comes to the monster.
Look at him.
The demonic stuff that I was watching at the time too.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'11". I'm not tall at all.
Well, I like to think I'm kind of tall, and I was 5'11", but never mind.
No, I'm not a tall dude. I'm not necessarily what you call tall.
But he's like twice your height. He's twice our height.
Oh yeah.
How do you even get into this?
Oh, it's a process. It takes about 20 minutes just to suit up into him. And that's with the platforms, strapping up, putting in, you got to get the arms in there. It's a lot to it. So when you see like certain parts of me moving into it, it's a full workout every time I'm in it.
Full work. Good thing you lift.
Yeah. There would be no atrocities if I didn't lift. I'll tell you that much.
Jeez. How heavy is that thing? Like when you're in it?
Maybe 80 pounds.
Jeez.
Maybe 80
Is that
pounds.
foam that's making it so heavy?
It's the layers. So it was much lighter before I like primed it and added the paint, but people don't know. Like Epsilon, which is, it could be used as a coater to make things harder, but Epsilon, Mod Podge, Plastidip, different paints, it adds weight over time.
Sure.
But once you start to layer things together, it's like, whoa, this is much heavier than when it was just EVA foam.
Yeah.
So it gains weight quick.
80 pounds. Because it's so interesting. I love watching the cosplayers at Crown Championship of Cosplay, and they make these massive things, and the poor souls, the costume itself looks so badass and cool, but then they're like, can't get up the stairs.
Yeah.
Takes the wind out of their sails just a little bit. But when I saw you at the Crown Championship and you stomped on that stage like the monster you are in Swamp Thing, how did that feel?
It was great. It was great. It was like a coming out party of a new era. I felt like I had a lot of responsibility that night because I was like the only full-on creature or monster, and then I was also, rocking one of my favorite heroes and creatures. Like Swamp Thing was huge for me. Back in the late 80s, early 90s, we had a Swamp Thing cartoon, we had a couple movies, all of that. So I felt like I was waving like the Swamp Thing flag, and then it was earlier that year the DC Universe Swamp Thing show it came out too. So he was like really getting back into the fold. So I had a huge sense of pride. In Chicago pride too, because
I guess hometown.
I got a rep for the hometown,
Well, to even get into the Crown Championships, didn't you first at C2E2? If you've never been to C2E2, I love going to the Crown Championships. You got to wait for like 2 hours outside in a crowded line in your own damn cosplay, which probably hurts your feet and you're uncomfortable. You're sweating your makeup off, and then you show up. They hype you up, and then they do the Chicago. Right? Like the local Chicago chapter just get it out of the way first. And then whoever wins that moves directly on to the World Championship right there on the YouTube stage.
Yep.
So you had to win 2 contests that night, or you had to get into 2 contests that night, right?
So you had to, well, not just for what I went into, I had to go through like this rigorous process of like just showing how it was made and all of that, and you going up against like all of the US basically, or whoever wants to participate in it. So like the chances of making it is like super slim because you're going up against pretty much the best of the best for the entire US.
Right.
So just getting the nod is something. It's definitely an achievement in itself, which is why didn't bring any gold home or anything, but I was definitely happy to get that get my time up there to show who I am, show who I am and show how my mind, the spookiness of my mind,
Well, I love that spookiness, and I hope it never goes away, and I hope you keep on at it. Do you plan to compete in the upcoming C2E2 in December?
You know what? I'm gonna answer that soon.
Ooh, well,
I'm
y'all
gonna answer that soon.
If you want to be the first to get that answer, make sure you hit Command TrisRex, and it'll take you straight to his Instagram page, and you give him a follow. Would you say that's the best place to find out like what's next for you at all times?
Oh yeah, Instagram is usually where I plug everything in first, and it kind of distributes to all of the other social channels.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's pretty much where you get it first.
Then you'll find out what's coming up at C2E2. The sad part, Tris, is I can't make it to C2E2 this year.
Why not?
It work. Real work. Work that pays the bills. Like I said, I work in theater, and we have a show that weekend. And C2E2 has never been this late in the year, so it's never been a problem.
Yeah.
And this time.
That holiday, I knew once they pushed it to December, it was going to be rough because of the holidays.
Yeah.
But, crap. I really got some good stuff.
I'll be drooling. I'll be scrolling, watching everybody. I'll be looking for what you're doing. You'll hear from me, guaranteed. You just won't see me in person.
Oh yeah, I know you always support. But yeah, I got some cool announcements. Soon I will be able to say what's what.
So what's the maybe not specifics about what's coming in the immediate future, but like what's your dream for all this? Like, where do you see all this going for you?
I'm gonna be honest with you, that grows every other time I think about it.
Yeah,
because when I started, I never thought that I would be here, not to say that I'm changing the world or something, but to really have the impact to be able to inspire others. I never thought that it would turn into this, but the biggest thing for me right now is continuing to tell my story with this next universe being the Alien universe. We're coming to the close of the DC Rexverse.
Okay,
I got a working title for that too that I am gonna let you guys know about on Instagram. But now that we coming up to Scarecrow, Poison Ivy, coming up to those last two characters, they play a huge integral part when it comes to the level of villainy that we have included. But the biggest thing is just being able to tell more stories, whether it's through film, whether it's through comics. I got a lot coming up. It's gonna be some big stuff.
So it sounds like the important thing for you really is just the ability to tell the stories over anything else. Like, that's the overarching thing for you.
It's all about the story. Because when I'm telling their story, I'm also telling my story. Because there's so much of me and all of the creatures that it's just... If you know me, like a lot of the people, a lot of my close friends and family, I know what you did there. Or I know why you did that.
Oh, okay.
It's so easy to see because I'm just ingrained in all of them. But the biggest dream for me is just to be able to tell my story on a bigger platform. Working on film, TV shows, all that other stuff. And I'm but honestly, it's not so much of a dream anymore. It's really a something that's kind of like arm's reach.
Really,
only time will tell. I've been able to really spar and kind of get myself ready for different opportunities. So it's been cool.
So we're gonna see some maybe future monsters in horror movies coming up, made by TrisRex.
Possibly.
Ooh.
Possibly.
That would be beautiful. That would just bring it wholly full circle. Like, you saw it as a kid, you loved it, you began creating it, everyone saw the amazing work, and it got you to be able to make what you loved as a kid.
Oh yeah, that's where it started. My love for horror sci-fi. That's where it has to go.
And do you see that as being a viable option, like professionally? so you can quit the other work?
Yeah, most definitely. There's a plan for that. Obviously, with recent events, it's not like studios are like fully open right now. But
Right.
that's not necessarily a foreign concept to think about when it comes to TrisRex Studio being all in. But that's definitely something that I explore and spar with in my mind.
I just love that for you, because almost tonight, I would say that it's like opened my eyes to who you are as a person, but in a way it hasn't. It's only confirmed what I already believed you to be. Like, seeing you and all of your work on your Instagram and on the stage at C2E2, and the little bit that we've interacted, I just knew, I'm like, that guy, he's got something. He's got a vision. He is going for something. Like, he's driven, and he's got a great heart, a great soul. Like, he's going to succeed. And just tonight has only confirmed that. So good on you. Keep it up.
That, man. Thank you, man.
This has just been. That. I was looking forward to this for so long. I'm just geeking out. I really am. Like, you're just. I just love it. I love it.
Really good session. This is a really good session. We finally get a chance to sit down and talk too, because we're both fans of each other's. So it's good to just geek out, like you say.
Honest. This is what I love about Mondays. Like, I look forward to Mondays every week because I just get to meet incredible people. And my shrimp is showing. Yeah, I know. I'm just I just get to talk to incredible people, and it's honestly inspiring and motivating, and it takes these lofty things that seem like they're impossible for so many of us, that we just like drool over your work and over so many other people's work, and we're like, well, I could never do that. But then, like, talking to you and so many others, it breaks it down to actionable steps that if you really want to do whatever, start with the process. Well, how are you going to wear the helmet? What's the story? I love that that's just, you start at the very beginning and you just build from there. And you learn, and you grow. You're like like leveling up, like an RPG.
Yeah, a real life RPG of just like learning and getting more special weapons with each character. Because literally I have to, like, each character, I would say on trend, I've learned at least 2 to 3 new techniques each character, and they just build upon each other, just building and building and building and building. And it's just like the new character that I'm gonna work on, which is Scarecrow. There's a lot of things that that worked like before that's not gonna work for this one. Or there's some new things that I'm gonna have to learn as well. But I'll tell you this: the design I have for Scarecrow and the vision I have for him it's messed up.
I like messed up.
I'm like, oh, are you really gonna go there, Tris? It even made me stop for a second, like, that's just wrong.
When you're scaring
yourself, right.
Yes,
it's right.
Yes,
that means it's right.
Yes, I can't wait. Scarecrow, honestly, in the DC universe is so interesting to me because it's like takes fears and impounds on itself, and I think that's just beautiful.
Question for you.
Yeah.
What's the universal fear that everybody has?
Public speaking. I would say death. That's my guess. Death.
Okay. Well, we're gonna see what happens when you give in to your greatest fears.
Ooh.
When you give in to your greatest fears for a specific character. I think we all know who that character is, but we're gonna explore his biggest fears.
Oh my god, I'm on the edge of my seat. I can't wait.
Possession of fear. So you already had Atrocitus, Lord Atrocitus, and his biggest thing, he's the Red Lanterns are rage. So you can be possessed by rage, you can be possessed by fear, and for Poison Ivy, you can be possessed by seduction. So you got 3 pillars of possession that we're going to explore throughout this villain line.
Now you are pumping the shit out of that story.
Hey, I got some. It's gonna be spooky. It's gonna be spooky, creepy, all that other stuff, and it's gonna be something to think about.
Well, how long do you have to wait?
I got a couple working dates. It's gonna be a couple months.
Okay,
it's gonna be a couple months. I'm still planning out how we want to. Because remember, this is the finale. This is what we've been waiting for since 2020. You know, you want to see all 8 characters, and then we got to talk about it. When it comes to this villain line, I want us to question what's right, what's wrong. Are they really a monster? You know, or are they a monster of their own circumstances? Kind of like Man-Bat. Is he really a monster for wanting to cure death and accidentally turning himself into a human-sized vampire bat?
Oops.
He just wants to do the right thing.
Right. That's how everything starts, right? We all want to do the best thing. And that comes from a theater background as well. One of the things they would tell you in the theater, as you know, is never judge your character, because once you think your character is the villain, you can't play the villain. Just the villain.
You gotta think you're right.
Is just trying to do what's right. It just happens to be against what other people believe is right.
Oh yes.
Depends on the scope. Yes. Read American history books.
And the villain, the key is to be your own hero. To be your own hero for your mission. For Lord Atrocitus, his mission is rage. He's come to Earth to recruit, which is why he kind of called to me in that dream sequence. If you watch the video, It's like, you know, he has a speech to go along with it. I don't want to spoil it for anybody that hasn't seen it, but he's calling out to me, and that's what happens. You know, he's pretty much the embodiment of what happens if I give in to all my rage and just let it free.
I love
everything that
what happens if that did.
Makes you mad, everything that grinds your gears. If you put on that red lantern ring, who are you? You know, and he's the embodiment of it.
Well, y'all, I put the Linktree link in the chat so that you can see everything that he's doing, including you can get your very own Embrace Your Inner Monster shirt at his merch store, and that'd be an excellent way to support, in a very small way, the amazing work that he's doing. And you can also go follow, subscribe, all of his channels, just to, like, I honestly look at your work and I'm like, why aren't you blowing up? Why don't you have 1 million likes yet, or follows? Like, what you're doing is so good. Why doesn't the world know about it? So do the good work, do God's work, and go follow him, go share his work, tell the world about TrisRex. Go, my little fug buggies. That's good to catch. That's a name that I'm forcing on my community.
Fug buggies.
Fug buggies. FGBG. Fug buggies. Huh? Huh? It's pretty good.
I got you.
There you go.
It went over my head the first time.
But let me know, you guys, what you're hearing from this wise man about your own work and about your own pursuit in creation, because I know that I've gained tons of drops of wisdom that I'm going to percolate all night, and I'm going to use that tomorrow when I'm at the gym. I'm going to act like a T-Rex, first of all.
You got to envision it.
And then I'm going to take the rest and actually apply it to this channel. And whenever I'm feeling discouraged, I'm going to think, what would TrisRex do? What would he say? What would he think?
There you go.
And I'll probably hit you up. I'll say, hey, buddy, I need some motivation. Hit me with that gospel.
I got you. Sunday service style.
Honestly, I'm feeling... I stopped going to church so I could come to this church. But I'm ready to play a game. How about you?
Let's do it. Let's
go. So, Chad, here's what we're going to do. We're going to play a little Monster Mash, because as you can see in TrisRex's work, he takes a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, and he mashes them together, and he makes this beautiful work of art. We're going to attempt to do this very same thing. Here's what I need from you. In the chat, I need you to first just give me a monster. It could be from the comics. It could be from fiction. I need any monster. Werewolf. Okay. We got a werewolf. Okay. So, along with that, let me go to this. Along with that, we are going to mash that monster with a random cartoon. That was who I just randomly picked before, but we'll hit it again. And so he and I, he the artist, me the streamer, are then going to do our best to draw a mash of a werewolf versus whatever character pops up. And we'll see how it goes. You ready, Tris?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's dial this down to 1. So we're mixing a werewolf with the Grinch.
Let's go. All right. How much time we got?
I don't know. How about a minute?
Cool. Let's do it.
A minute. Okay, so I'll make him a little bigger for us, so we can see him. So for those just popping in, we are gonna do our best to mix the Grinch with a werewolf in our version of Monster Mash, which would have been really great for Halloween. I don't know why I didn't save this for Halloween, but I wasn't with TrisRex on Halloween. Honestly, he's not too much to mix, you know?
They both got fur. They both got fur, so that's a common trait.
Gotta draw those eyebrows. I wish we had like little cameras.
Yeah, I'm over the shoulder.
Yeah. The Grunch. Shaboykin says, I'm in tears, a werewolf and the Grinch. Well, I think you're about to be in even greater tears, Shaboykin, when you see my heinous drawing up against a true artist.
I don't know. I need my prep time like that, man.
So, when you're not doing this kind of thing, like, what other kind of things do you geek out about?
I'm a big video game player along with my wife. She's the real gamer, but I like tag along sometimes. So when I'm not doing that, I'm trying to play some video games to free my mind. And I've been on a tear as far as like trying to watch every monster movie possible.
Well, yeah, it's all research, right?
Oh yeah, so it's kind of fun, but it really is borderline work,
right?
At the same time, because I'm like, oh, I want to create that. You know, or I'm thinking about how I could incorporate it into the, people I'm working on now.
Do you ever find that you're able to even turn it off? Or are you just like constantly thinking about what you could be doing next?
That's another thing that I'm trying to work on. Trying to turn it off.
But
it's not easy. It's not easy. When it's in you, it's in you. But with practice, just like how I learned how to create things out of clay and foam, gotta learn how to turn that mind off too, which is the hardest thing for me.
I find that I have to compartmentalize. Like is there a timer? No, there's no timer. It's a minute-ish, give or take a minute. I'm almost done with mine. Where are you at?
Yeah, I think we could call it.
Okay, let me just finish his hand.
I didn't even get to the hand.
That's fine. That's fine.
As long as I get the face, I'll be okay.
Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
This is a werewolf monster mashed with the Grinch. Show it up. What you got? Damn. Damn, yours is cool. We pull a little closer.
That's hilarious.
Oh, that's even better up close. I'm gonna make it big. Look at it.
Look at his lip. It's the lip.
That's a
It's the
Grinch lip.
for me. You
That's
gotta have a Grinch lip. I love yours too. That is so dope.
He's popping out his shirt. Okay, what do you say? Let's do one more.
Okay.
I just like this drawing and chatting. This is fun. Okay, so we need a new monster, y'all. Give us another monster.
I'm gonna try to get the full body for this one.
Okay. But I was saying mine's a compartmentalization. Medusa, there we go. Medusa for John. That could be fun.
Classic.
Medusa mixed with, every time I gotta pull it down to one. Mixed with, who's gonna be, drum roll please, Colossus.
Let's go.
Okay, I'm here for this.
Okay.
This could be cool. But I know that I either have to, when I'm at work, just like not think about the channel, not think about 4 Geeks by Geeks. Otherwise, I won't get anything done for either.
I understand that. I totally understand that. It's hard when I'm at work sometimes because I'll be speaking of something or I'll be in a big meeting presenting something. It's like, oh, yeah, that would make a cool concept, or, you know, I would sketch something, or I'm like, I probably shouldn't be doing that right now.
But you can't turn it off. And I mean, if you could turn it off, you wouldn't be to where you are today. I really don't believe so.
There has to be a level of obsession, you know?
Right.
You gotta obsess over something in life. It might as well be a monster, right?
Yeah, or, you know, how to get views on the internet.
Oh, yeah. I've given up. I've fully given up. But it's okay.
I just have people way cooler than me come on my show, and then people have a reason to tune in. And that's my tactic. I'm going to work with that for as long as I can.
That works.
It's working so far. This actually, I don't know how much you've followed our little journey here at FGBG, but this endeavor is relatively new. Having like people on a Monday night, we geek out. You haven't been on, thanks, Boser. Alec, honestly, do you know you've been on my mind a lot today? And I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe it's time. But having people on to geek out with, because we used to do this here in my basement.
I think I remember that.
You remember those?
I think I remember that.
Ooh, you know what she needs? Okay. Yeah, we used to
almost
have them
there.
here, but it was limiting. Sorry, I'm taking my damn time with this because I got a vision and it's gonna come true.
There you go.
Just like TrisRex taught me to.
I gotta do the whole body this time though. I can't cheat y'all.
I'm cheating, y'all. But it was limiting because it was only limited to those in the immediate area. Like, you know, maybe 30-minute drive. We did have a couple of people from Chicago come on.
Yeah. I mean, where you are is not too far. Still a commitment though.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know.
But I just loved it. And then we kind of moved away. You know, COVID forced us all to go digital. And then all of us at FGBG couldn't really make the videos that we were used to making in person. We would like meet every week on a Sunday and get together and make some content. But we couldn't do that. So we're like, how do we get past this? And so we moved here to Twitch. But then I really missed this. I miss this a lot. Like, I don't know much about much, but I can talk to people. I sure can talk to people.
Well, I can talk.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm almost there. You know what? She's just not gonna have arms. That's okay. There we go. Medusa.
But I've loved this. I'm looking forward to it every Monday. I can't wait. Let me think who's I got next. Next week, if y'all want to tune in, we got New Crits on the Block. It's a D&D podcast. Did you ever play D&D, Tris? You don't have
I
time for
haven't.
D&D. You're too busy to play D&D.
Never too busy. I mean, I just haven't had the opportunity. Uh-oh. We almost there. I think I got it.
And let me think. We're gonna finish this off with this and this little Widow's Peak.
Boom. Boom.
I don't even begin. I got his head, and that's about it.
Okay. So we switched off. You did the
sure
full
did.
body last time, and let me add in some of the hair right quick. Give me 1 second.
We sure did. We switched up. If y'all just tuned in, we are monster mashing. Somebody suggested Medusa with a random character, which gave us Colossus, the X-Men. And
There we go.
that's what we got.
I think I got it. I don't
Okay.
think I could do much more justice to this.
Okay, let's see.
Get ready to laugh.
3, 2, 1.
I think we kind of went for like the same thing.
Ooh. Oh, wait, does he have a snake body? Oh, that's dope. That's
I had
dope.
to just trade off like, okay, I'm gonna just try to do everything.
Yeah. I like. Oh wait, let me zoom you in. Oh, you got the X-Men symbol. There you go. That's totally his face shape. He's always got such. He's got like jawline that could cut.
And if
glass.
you don't have the Widow's Peak, it's just not Colossus.
It's not. Yeah, it's not Colossus. I
You
was
gotta have
going
a fade.
for some like mechanical looking snakes.
That's dope.
I don't know if that came through X Monsters. There we go. And there you go. That's Monster Mash, everyone. Give it up for TrisRex
Monster
and his
Mash.
beautiful drawings and beautiful art and wonderment that he's putting on the internet every day. Let me hit you with that command, TrisRex, one more time. Yeah, that one. There you go. And that'll take you to his Instagram. Would you send? Thank you. Oh, that was me. Okay. We're gonna hide that because if you don't know what he's doing, you need to go check it out. He is putting such goodness into the world, you guys. And like, I can't say enough about how much I love your work, and I love it even more now because I could tell that you are putting hours of labor and intense concentration into this. And I can tell it's for your own self. Like you just were putting it out there because you loved it and that's what you wanted. Like you were manifesting your own dreams in foam and glue and heat. And you're forging your future in that way. And it's obvious in your work, but then coming on tonight with you, talking to you, and just getting gassed up myself and just removing any doubt that I've ever had, because it doesn't matter at the end. It starts with self, it starts with loving what you're doing, and it starts with leaning into what you love, geeking out loud. And if that's at the center of what you're doing, then it doesn't matter what else.
Exactly.
Here we go.
Exactly. You gotta be vigilantly passionate. You got
Say
the
that one more time.
footnotes.
Say that one more time.
Vigilantly passionate about what you're doing. Love it with vigilance. Gotta be vigilant about it.
Because there are days, I'm sure, that you don't feel like doing it.
Oh no. There's some days I don't want to touch a piece of foam. Or I don't want to paint anything. Or I don't want to sketch anything. But when it comes to discipline, it's key. Because it's a lot of monster. It ain't gonna build itself.
Yeah. But in order to finish, you have to be vigilantly passionate. I can't even say it.
Exactly.
That's gonna be your next merch shirt.
Vigilant passion.
Vigilant
Vigilant passion.
There you go. Well, Tris, while we're wrapping this up, y'all, if you have somebody on Twitch that you want us to raid, go ahead and suggest that now. But Tris, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Thanks for coming on, geeking out with me, and thanks for geeking out with all of our community over the last few years and allowing us to support you, and we're going to continue to support you. And I can't wait to see what's coming next. I will be all over you and C2E2, at least on your Instagram.
Mhm. I got you.
John had fun tonight. Said it was an excellent Geek Out Sesh tonight. Kept the mind off the migraine. Oh, sorry, buddy. I hate that for you.
It's just some aspirin. I know those migraines it's tough, but I appreciate you sticking it out.
Yeah, we've got our soldiers. We got John. We've got Alec. We've got Oddity. We've got Oceana. These are people that tune in almost every week if they can. And
I love it.
It just makes me feel so good. We've got our people.
Thanks, y'all.
Just like, thanks for bringing your people. Like, there was Mindless. There was your lovely wife, I assume, gassing you up in the chat. There was Boy Kin.
Yeah, I got the peeps in here. The peeps are in here.
There we go. Well, thank you guys. And if you enjoyed what's going on tonight, make sure that you come back next Monday, and you come back Wednesday when we play community games, usually Moose. Grab somebody and they play games together. Thursdays are our D&D campaigns. We've been doing some one-shots, so we wrap up our final session of our 2-year-long campaign. And just keep coming by on Mondays and geeking out with a new guest every time. We got New Crits on the Block coming up next week, which is a D&D podcast. They're hilarious. And so we'll find out all about what goes into making a podcast and D&D podcast, albeit, and all that good stuff. And we're just making some friends. And if you are looking for some new friends, use command Discord, and you can join our Discord. And that's just a place that you can geek out on the regular with some people that at 3 a.m. when you need somebody to talk to about this idea that you have about a new cosplay or whatever. That's the great place. And go ahead and follow us here on Twitch. Give us a sub if you want to support, and hit some merch down below, or just hit command Insta, and you can follow us on Instagram and join our little community that we are trying to gas up all these incredible creators here on the internet, such as Tris himself. So, Tris, we end our stream in a very specific way. When I point to you, you're going to say your name, and then when I point to you again, you're going to say, "Keep geeking out."
Got you.
Okay. So we're going to do a first raid to, I don't know who this person is. I must have followed them at one point. But it's going to be -1 charisma. It's not working. It's not working. Raid -1 ka. Let's see if that works. I'm working on it. Okay, there we go. There we go. He's like, did you do the raid? Because I forget about 80% of the time. Well, until next time, I am Boser.
TrisRex.
And you just keep geeking out. There it is. That's it. Good night, you guys.
Peace.
And we are clear.
That was fun, man.
Dude,
that was so fun.